Hello, everybody. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sorry about the delays there. My Stream Deck just suddenly blanked out as I was using it. I've had kind of a weird day. So the last time I was on this stream a few days ago, it kind of got cut off. So I installed Windows 10 with Parallels, and then I installed Ubuntu Server with Parallels, and then I kind of got sidetracked because I had to go off on a fire call. And I wanted to kind of continue, do a little part 2. And what I wanted to do was install some of the other versions of Linux that are involved in Parallels on this M1 machine that you see here. So we can just jump right into it. Here is my Parallels desktop. Open up the control center. See, this isn't very intuitive interface. So as I explained in the last stream, I am not a Parallels expert. Actually, like one of my first time using Parallels was during that stream. I'm not familiar with it. I'm way more familiar with other virtualization, VMware all day long, VirtualBox all day long. This stuff, Parallels, I'm a little confused with it, if I'm being perfectly honest, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. Works okay. This Windows 10 install that we did worked pretty good. It didn't have a bunch of CPU performance, which I expected with all those emulation layers, but it worked pretty good. I think we could probably do a lot of work on it. What I want to do is try a desktop Linux system. Now, I installed this server thing. I'm not really interested in that. I want to try a Linux desktop on my machine. So I think this is, there we go. So you click this little plus button to add a new machine. Gives you this warning about the M1, how nothing will run on the M1. We know that, other than this VHDX. Now, here's what I want to try out. There's a few different options where it says free systems, and these are included in the Parallels install. The link is anyway. So let's continue. Let's do Ubuntu 2004 ARM 64. And it's going to start downloading. And I've got my chat open today. I don't know how many people are actually going to be watching this thing live because I decided to do it at 5 o'clock Pacific time. Everybody's off work. But it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, so we might have some people come in here. Generally, right now, the way streams are going for me right now, they get watched more after they're done. So I have very few people that are on here live. Once it hits YouTube, more people watch it. Few people watch it on Twitch. And I'm cool with that because I'm just going to keep putting out stuff until people start wanting to watch it. I'm having fun doing this. And today's stream is brought to you by Bay. I don't even know how you say it. I think it's Bai. Cocoa Water. They're not actually sponsoring me or anything. I just felt like I had to have it to stream today. So delicious stuff. 1 gram of sugar, coconut water if you're into that sort of thing. It's delicious. Let's see how our download's going here. It's going not too bad. Now it's validating. Doing a little CRC checking on that image, I imagine. Let's see what Ubuntu looks like on this thing. So I've wanted to do some virtualization on this M1 since I got it. But I know that it's not going to be high performance like I expect. But it would be kind of cool to be able to jump into a Windows or Linux box anytime I want without leaving this OS X desktop if I'm doing something that requires something like that. So we're booting up into Ubuntu 20.04. Okay, that's kind of interesting. It created a Parallels user. You're required to change your password immediately. Okay. So what am I going to choose here? There we go. I might run this thing full screen. Run as root is ready. Let's check some stuff out here. What is this thing doing? Installing parallel tools. I imagine this is similar to the like VirtualBox extensions and VMware extensions. Cool things like drivers and other stuff you might need. Looks like I will need to restart Linux to make it work. That's fine. Oops, and I bumped my microphone. Is my cam 2 working today? Oh, it doesn't appear to be. That's okay, I can just use the first one. All right, let's go ahead and restart our Ubuntu machine. I'm not a huge fan of Ubuntu. I've expressed that online and to my friends. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if you need to spin up Linux and do something quick with Linux, it's great. So let's take a look and see what our machine looks like. Live patch, nah. Yeah, we'll send them info. They should probably know that silly folks like me are doing this. Software install apps like these. Cool, so here we go. Got this. Now the first thing I'm going to install, of course, let's see how to make this thing full screen. Is it just this? Appears to be. Cool. Can't see my chat window now, though. So probably not going to go with that. Let's crunch that back down. As you can tell, I'm really unfamiliar with parallels. I'm not a parallels person. Network adapter, CD image, USB controller, view. I mean, is there a way to do full screen without true full screen? Probably not. So I'll just jump into it and then I'll bob out for the chat once in a while. Geekbench download. Let's download it. We're going to download Geekbench 5 for Linux. Yeah, let's open this. Let's open this up. We'll extract it into downloads. Doesn't really matter. There's our files. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You'll want to do Geekbench from the prompt in Linux, and I have to escape full screen because I have to put in my registration information, which I do not want to share with the world. So go here, terminal, and I'm going to add terminal to favorites because the terminal is my favorite. Perfect. Geekbench 5. It cannot execute this for some reason. Interesting. So this is obviously the very first time I've tried this, to run Geekbench on Linux on a Mac. Very possible that this is just not supported. With Windows, they have that emulation error, but yeah, we've got exec format error. So I think because this is ARM Linux running on an ARM processor, don't think I can run Geekbench. Fairly certain. Hello, Tom. When are you going to join me for a stream, Tom? I keep bugging Tom about this just because Tom has like 100 times more personality than I do, so I'm hoping to like drag him onto a stream and launch his streaming career, or he can be famous and pity raid me at some point or something. So this is pretty cool. What should we do with this? I think we should throw some development software on there. Let's install Node on this thing and see if that works. Since Geekbench didn't work, and honestly, I don't even know which node to download. I'm suspecting that there's not an emulation layer between the ARM here, so let's try it anyway. Let's try 64-bit binaries. How much you want to bet I'm going to get the exact same error? Where on earth did I download that to? Looks like I downloaded it to root. Linux binaries. Let's save it. So it asks me where to save it. Is it going to ask me at all? I'm just going to drop it somewhere. Cool. So I'm in my home. There it is. It's in downloads. Is that actually a folder? What the frick? Let's open it. Let's extract it into downloads. Yep, format error, cool. Just wanted to confirm I cannot run 64-bit binaries on here like we could with Windows. Not able to do that in Linux, which is fine. So everything has to be ARM is basically what we're saying there. So let's make this easier. Let's go to our software center and see what kind of software we have available here. Software and updates. Not that one. It's been so long since I used Ubuntu, I don't even know where the heck the store is anymore. Whatever you would call it, the App Store. That's what I'm going to call it. System monitor. Software update. Maybe that is the only place to get software from. Maybe I'm screwed. I'm just going to try to apt-get a bunch of crap. We'll install this stuff. What about Visual Studio Code, my friend? Let's see. I think there's an app for this. Just apt-get or something. Let's go to other downloads since we know our 64 isn't going to work. See what other downloads we have. We have ARM64 right there. So we could do a deb file. Locked by another process because I'm updating software. I probably shouldn't have done this stupid update because I'm probably going to delete this machine anyway, but let's roll with it. So while we're waiting for this thing, I'm going to show y'all something kind of cool. I did a demo on this earlier today, the webinar. Check this out. So let's say you want to learn Python and you go to Pluralsight. We've got sandboxes now. So I did a demo of these sandboxes, and these things are incredible. So as you're going through the course, you can load up a perfectly fine sandbox, and I see my demo still there. I was going to write it up again, but these sandboxes, so you can go through them, and you can go through each module of the course and run the Python in it, in a real Python environment. But I wanted to prove that it was a real Python environment, so I wrote this out as a part of my demo using NumPy and CV2 to generate this big red image and put hello world over the top of it. We'll say hello Twitch. Make sure I'm in the right spot. Oh, we don't have CV2 anymore. But basically, I was trying to prove that this is like a real Python environment, real C#. I did Golang, C# and Python. Wanted to prove it as a real environment. So there isn't much more real than being able to pull in CV, OpenCV, and build an image and generate it within this environment. That's what this little script does. I mean, we've even got pip here. So it's like a real Python environment, and this is all in a web browser. Run Python image py. Hello, Twitch. Pretty cool, right? Kind of like pushes the limits of what you would expect from a web-based Python environment. I think it's really cool. I did some stuff with C# where I went and read a RSS feed, stuff like that. You can do all of this, and it's just this launch sandbox. So if you want to learn a language, got a bunch of sandboxes with a bunch of languages. We're going to restart later. And I'm going to try to install Visual Studio Code. Everybody's favorite code editor from the beginning. And we have some errors. libSSX1. I'm not even sure what that is. Generally what I do in Ubuntu is just see if I can apt install it, but won't be able to, so let's Google it. What is libSS1? Oh, restart Firefox, fine. Looks like there aren't many. Somebody else had to have received this. See, everybody goes to Stack Overflow. Everybody hits Google. Lesson of the day. How to get the following sudo apt install. That's interesting using. I'm going to try this little piece of code right here. If I have curl, do I have curl? Can I type? Nope. Sudo apt install curl. See if we've got an ARM version of curl. Oh, that stupid libSSX1 again. See if fix broken install fixes it. Ooh, it looks like right there, I was about to point to the screen, which would be kind of silly, I think. But right there, unpacking libSX1, so maybe I don't have to do anything. Maybe I can just run dpackage again and it'll work. It's the first time for me too, folks, so yeah, there we go. Check it out. Visual Studio Code. Pretty much a must-have. I couldn't get it to work with this version of FreeBSD, and I was like out for a minute there. Pick a theme. Actually, yeah, that didn't look at all what I thought it would look like. Dark. Monokai dimmed's pretty good. There we go. That looks great. Code in any language. Yeah, I haven't actually seen any of these options before. This must be a brand new, like today, update for Visual Studio Code. So what do we want to do in Visual Studio Code? We want to install Node. That's right, I forgot. We want to install Node. I think it's sudo apt-get install Node or something. Or Node.js. There we go. Let's see if Node works. We have npm. Holy moly. Apt install npm. Yeah. So let's create something kind of silly. Let's just create a silly web page. You remember those HTML5 bootstrap pages or boilerplate? Those still exist. Oh, they do. Cool. This is not the one I was thinking of. HTML boilerplate right there. Now, if you've never used this, I'm not a big CSS person, so I love using things like this. If I remember right, there's a way I could select different things like jQuery, and we'll just download the whole thing. We're going to extract this. Let's make a folder. Projects. We'll just extract it in there. I should have extracted it into a boilerplate folder. Let's pick a folder. We're going to pick boilerplate. Cool. Now that we have npm, should be able to say sudo npm i-g serve, one of my favorites. Love serve. It's a little internal web server that serves up static pages. One of my favorites by far. So let's jump into projects. Boilerplate. Type in serve. Now it's all open on port 5000. So all I have to do is go here, say localhost 5000. This is my web page. Wow, so neat. So, I mean, Node works. We could do create React app or something. I'll create a Svelte app. Let's just do a bunch of... I've never worked with Svelte before. So, I think that's what we're going to do. Oh, okay. So we're using npm. I still haven't made the big switch to Yarn yet. Haven't found a really good reason to. So let's close down serve. Let's npm I create Svelte. And I should have sudoed that. But that's all right. See how it goes. Exactly as I expected. There we go. We'll sudo that. So basically what I'm trying to do here is just kind of set up a development machine where we can develop stuff and just see how possible it is running on an ARM version of Linux on an M1 ARM machine. Anytime you change architecture, so Mac did this years ago, or Apple, I should say. Apple switched from their PowerPC to an x86 process, and there was all kinds of messiness and muddiness involved in that, and they got through it. This time seems a lot smoother, and most of that is because of the translation. It seems much smoother than their x86 transition was. So, create Svelte. To create a site, well, we're just going to copy stuff here. I'm just going to copy every command. npm init. Svelte app, my app. Do I want Svelte, Svelte native, or Sapper? I don't even know. So let's do Svelte. Not going to put Tailwind in there. It's Webpack, maybe? Ah, something went wrong. That's quite interesting. Svelte, Webpack. Couldn't find the commit hash for master, so we'll try something else. We'll try Svelte. Component, whatever that is. That also went wrong. I wish I could say I knew more. I guess we'll do Tailwind. Why not? We'll bundle it with this. Nope. So I wish I knew more about Svelte because I could tell you why this isn't working. None of these seem to be working. None of the Svelte options. So we tried rollup. I don't know if we tried rollup. Nope. So try rollup. Webpack, we tried that component, Tailwind, and TypeScript. Okay. We might be dead in the water. Let's try Svelte native. Oh, it won't even do a Svelte native. Let's try whatever Sapper is. Webpack. So it looks like I really can't do very much at all with Svelte. And I'm certain this has something to do with ARM. make sure we tried all of these options here. No Svelte app. What can we try? I've been doing a lot of Hugo stuff lately. We could try a Hugo app. So, first we need to install Go. Ubuntu, I'm pretty sure it's like Golang or something. I know how to get the tarball. I don't want to do the tarball. I want to try to natively install this. Yeah, it looks like doing the binary is like the only, which is usually how I install it, but so let's copy this. We will open up a temporary file here. So we're going to have to make some changes. This obviously downloads the AMD 64 version, which will not work. So we can't use Svelte, but we can use Node and NPM, which is cool. I'll just keep playing with this so you don't have to. No, I don't want that one. There's FreeBSD for 386, AMD 64. Gonna guess it's this one right here that I want. ARM version 8. But I'm not entirely sure. So we'll try it. This here is going to require sudo. Oh, and I could have snap installed it. Oh well. I never remember the how to set this up on Ubuntu. Yeah, that's right. Got to export that path. But I have to make sure that path is correct. I keep hitting the wrong console window. Just silly. All right. So this one wants user local go bin. Let's make sure that exists. And it does. So I believe I have a dot profile on Ubuntu. LSLA, this will show me everything in my home folder. We have a bash RC, so I should be able to do something with that. Oh, there's my profile. Oh, I don't have Vim. Perfect. I'm just going to dump this in here. should work. Why doesn't that work? Maybe I do have to source that. There we go. Now we're going to install Hugo. I'm going to do a ton of this next week. We're going to do a ton of Jamstack stuff with Hugo. It's going to be pretty cool. Quick install. Where's my little, there it is. Fetch from GitHub. Oops, and I hit my wrong terminal window again. So, we're going to make a source folder. We're going to git clone. I bet you I don't have git. Oh, I don't. I may end up spending this entire hour on this stream with Ubuntu, just getting this thing set up, but now we have git. All right, so we can git clone into Hugo. And we're going to change from our old one to a new Hugo site once we get this up and running. Instead of that boilerplate one. Whoops. All right, so we're going to do Hugo. Go install. Now it does say to install it with tags extended. I usually do because then you can use SAS and things like that with it. Otherwise, you can just type in go install. But this just installs the extended. And as it says, remove tags extended if you do not need SAS or SCSS support. I always just put it in there even though many times I don't use it, but it's helpful to have it there. If you stay tuned tomorrow, I think I'm going to do some streaming tomorrow. And I might stream some video games. Some old 8-bit video games. I did that a while back on Twitch. That's where some of my followers came from. Was not my cool coding and Linux stuff, but it was from super old 8-bit NES games. So I might set up that machine and do that again. I have a controller around here somewhere, like a legit NES controller, and I plug that in through USB and run this NES emulator, and it's pretty cool. Pretty fun. I might also stream BeamNG, one of my favorite games. I've tried to stream it once, and it just did not go very well, and I'm not sure if that's a limitation with bandwidth, though I highly doubt it. Our bandwidth out here is amazing. So I'm not sure if it was a limitation in bandwidth or encoder, hardware, who knows. But you might see some tests. That is a really cool game. That game you can build up 4x4s, you can build up race cars, all this stuff. Take them on these experimental tracks. It's pretty cool. It looks like I picked the worst time to stream. I've got like 6 people watching. But thank you, all 6 of you who are watching. I'm sure there's far more on Twitter and YouTube, but all right, so Hugo's taking a little while to build. There's a lot of dependencies there that I wasn't aware of with Hugo. Still like it better than Gatsby or other similar static site solutions. I'm going to make the rest of this coconut water freezing cold and ice water. Oh, there we go. Did Hugo work? Let's find out. It did not. Wants me to sudo apt install Hugo, which I didn't even know that was an option. I'm going to try that. Let's sudo apt install Hugo. Why not? Looks like it's pulling down ARM64 versions of it. Wow, very cool. So where am I at here? We called this projects, right? Sweet. Yeah, I don't even see the apt install Hugo or anything. That's pretty cool. So let's do a Hugo new site. Call it hello. All right, there's our first Hugo site. We are now going to open up a new window. Get rid of that boilerplate. Don't save. We're going to open up projects. Hello. This is going to be our Hugo site. Let's find a cool theme for our Hugo site. Most of these are like really cool, but I couldn't ever imagine building a site with any of them, but they look cool. Some of them, like that one, I could see doing a silly blog or something. Oh, clarity. Looks like a kind of a cool one. So we'll copy that URL. Let's jump into our themes. Let's get clone clarity into there. And let's see, we'll note the folder, Hugo-clarity. So we just need to go into our config toml, theme, I think we might be able to run this thing just like this. Actually, let's do Hugo new content We'll make this draft false. Now let's run our Hugo site, see what it looks like. Hugo serve. Bam! We've got ourselves a Hugo site. Just like that. So I've been doing a ton of Hugo development. Like I said, next week I'm going to do this Hugo Jamstack extravaganza. So I'm going to stream multiple times next week, and we're going to cover like building a Hugo site, building a Hugo theme, putting it out to Netlify, Vercel, AWS, Azure, all of these different places. It's going to be really cool, and I'm going to show you how you can make your own website. So I've been stressing this a lot to people, especially content creators. A lot of people want to be developer advocates. I'm a developer evangelist. And so I've had people reaching out to me and they're like, what do I do? Where do I blog? I've got a Medium thing set up. Medium is great. Dev2 is great, but your own domain is the best. So I love the fact that I can put anything I want on jeremymorgan.com, and I don't ever have to worry about getting yanked, removed, shut down, site going bankrupt. I mean, Netlify could shut down and I could just move it somewhere else. I still own jeremymorgan.com as a domain. And so if you're a content creator, you're a blogger, you've got to own your own domain. Got to. And Hugo's a great way to do it. What's really cool about Hugo is you don't need to install, you don't have to have a web host, right? So you don't need to install things like WordPress and databases and all this stuff. You can put this in a GitHub and you can move it from that GitHub anywhere you want. You can make GitHub Actions, push it to S3, you can put it to Netlify, you can put it to Vercel, you can put it to all these different sites and have it all run by GitHub. So you just pull down your site, make some changes, commit it, push it, approve your own pull request, and you're up and running with your website. It's the best way to blog, and you own the content. You own the space, you own the everything. So let's check out this Hugo theme a little bit here. There isn't a lot configured in it. Now, one of the things about Hugo themes, this is pretty cool. So if you copy a Hugo theme, like I've copied this Hugo Therapy, most of the time they have an example site. So you can go in here into the example site and just kind of look at different things, you know. Theme, TOML, that's for the people that wrote the theme. You can look at some of the layouts, default layouts, content. It looks like this one doesn't have an example config TOML in it. But sometimes they'll have a config TOML, so you can look at how it's set up there. And this one has a different one for each one. There we go. Here's some extra stuff that we can put in here. Copyright, all rights reserved, couldn't find the page you're looking for. This is all stuff that you can throw into your TOML. Let's just start hacking up the theme. Oh, and they also have archetypes. So what archetypes are, when you want to create a new page, like I did that create new and did Hugo new content in a page, all it did is title, date, and draft. You can set up what are called archetypes, where you can have it ask for a title, date, description, featured, whatever you want, and that way when you create Hugo new of that type, it will show up like this. So this is always a good thing to do. We've got SAS files in here. We've got layouts. Very cool. Got a lot of partials in here. Holy moly, a lot of partials. But that's fine because these all get compiled into HTML when you do Hugo build. So let's see, we could be Hugo developers here. We could do some Node.js stuff. Let's see, I wonder what else can we do here. And I'm going to check on something really quick. Let's see. So we've got a Hugo site. Let's shut that down. Oh, I hit my other terminal again. Just a dirty habit. Do we have NPX on here? There's something curious. Cool. Let's create a React app. See if this works. Since our Svelte didn't work, let's see if we can create a React app. Sure looks like it. So, I mean, this is pretty cool. Like, say you want, so if you have an M1, if you're watching this, you probably have an M1 Mac and you're wondering, like, what can I do with it? Can I put Windows on my machine? Can I put Linux on my machine? Can I run these things in parallels and do Windows and Linux stuff on my M1 Mac like I could with the old one? Not as well as the x86 Mac, but it appears there's a lot of stuff we could do here. So I just recently finished up a 2-month-long project with Hugo and using Beautiful Soup and Hugo and all these different things together. And I most likely could have done that entire thing right here on this virtual machine. That's what it kind of looks like. Actually, that might be something kind of cool to try. While this thing is installing, let's create another window. Can I do another window? I do have Python 3. Awesome. Do I have pip? There are 18 similar ones. All right. I'm just going to make a virtual environment on my desktop. I don't care. Ensure pip is not available. Oh, okay. I guess I won't install it on my desktop. I'll go into my projects folder. Oh, there we go. Happy hacking. CD test app, moment of truth. Before I get too squirrel-brained on something else, let's see if our React app works. Sure looks like it's gonna. Ta-da! There we go. There we go. Learn React. Our React app is up and running, which is cool. So I'm going to assume, because of the complete lack of errors there, I'm going to assume that you could do a lot of React stuff with this. Should never assume, take things for granted, but so this was our Hugo site. This thing worked great. Now we're going to try some Python stuff, right? So I'm going to jump into projects. I'm going to do that little image demo that I did earlier. Oh, let's see. Oh, Python 3 needs to be aliased. All right. All right, cool. So we have our little Python environment here. Just going to see if I can copy and paste from my other window. See if we can create this little JPEG. Ooh, I cannot paste across there, can I? Interesting. So there's something I learned. I can't copy and paste. Can I? Oh, there it is. I don't know what happened there. Looks like we're doing great. Quick. So we're going to do pip install cv/python. That was pretty quick. Python 3 image.py red.jpg. Let's check it out. So we can open up this silly file manager. Projects, that was under image. Hello world. Very cool. Where did my little... Hello, Twitch. Very cool. So our time is about wrapping up here. So I've got, let's kind of recap what we've done the last couple of streams here. So on the first stream, I installed Windows 10. And what I noticed from that was it was pretty fast, it was pretty straightforward, but then the Windows 10 is running kind of an emulation mode. So I'm able to run the 64-bit binaries on there, x86 binaries on Windows. I was able to run Geekbench. I found that Geekbench was significantly slower than it is natively, which is zero surprise. But there was an emulation layer there. Here, with this Ubuntu that I've installed, it's an ARM version, and it seems to only run ARM things as far as I can tell. So I've installed a few things. I've installed Node, I've installed Go, but these things only seem to work with ARM binaries. So I'm going to figure out, I'm going to deep dive into that a little bit more. So one of the things, if you watch my videos and you watch my streams and you talk to me on Twitter, you know that I don't pretend to know everything. I could be missing something here. So could definitely be missing something. There could be a different way to run those binaries. Maybe you can run x86 binaries on here all day long. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm going to play around with it, mess with it. Maybe there's another emulation layer I can throw in there. Not that it's that big of a deal. But if you're asking yourself, so if you're watching these videos for the sole purpose because you want to do this, and you're asking yourself, can I work with Linux or Windows on my Mac M1? Right now, I'm going to give you a solid maybe, probably, yes, mostly. That's going to be my answer. I think you can mostly do a lot of things on here. I was able to install Visual Studio Code, do a bunch of other stuff on the Windows side. I was able to run x86 binaries on it. It seemed snappy. It didn't benchmark very fast, but it seemed pretty snappy. With the Ubuntu version here, we've been able to do Node, Go, stuff like that. So I guess it just depends on what you're doing. You know, if you're a web developer and you feel like you want to create a Linux environment to jump into, you can create this Linux environment. If you have some Windows apps that you can't live without and you want to run them on your Apple M1 machine, probably maybe. I'm going to say probably maybe you'd be able to do that. And keep in mind that these things are going to change. Like, they're definitely going to change. So there are a lot of people who are very bullish on the ARM platform, and that's fine. I don't think Apple is very bullish on the ARM platform. I think they're devoted. I think they're committed. I think they're ready to keep moving. The M2 is already on its way. There's going to be M3 whenever. But I think they're pretty bullish on it. I think that that Apple is going to continue to develop this system on a chip that they've got going. It's really cool. It's really fast. It's really great. So as time goes on, when millions of us purchase these ARM-based Mac machines, they're going to keep doing better and better things. One of the things that I can't wait to do is install other operating systems on this M1. So right now I'm using it for building my courses. I'm using it for Mac stuff, but if I purchase an M2, which probably won't be very soon, but if I purchase an M2, then I'm going to take this Mac One and I'm going to put FreeBSD on it. I'm going to put Linux on it. I'm going to put Manjaro, something on it, just to see how that process goes. So thank you for watching my stream. Really appreciate it. Thank you for Tom for coming in and heckling me again. And thank you to all the people who are going to be watching the rerun of the stream, which is way more of you than the people who come on when I come on live. So I want to say thank you. Follow me on Twitter at Jeremy C. Morgan. Hit me up with ideas, feedback, comments. Comments are always welcome on my YouTube videos too. If they're trolling or nasty, I'll just ignore them. But if it's something criticizing what I do and you have a good point, then we'll talk about it and I'll learn something. So, or if you just like it, then tell me you like it. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. This has been fun. I'm going to do more of this. I plan to come out with a stream at some point where it was like, here's how you make parallels work great for you. Here's how you set up a machine, this and that. But right now, this is my second time using it. So I'm still new to it myself. But I will have some parallels tips coming because I'm going to use the heck out of this. I love Linux. I kind of love Windows too. Maybe not as much, but there's a lot of cool things about Windows. So I'm going to run Windows and Linux on my Mac machine here to try it out. So for my next stream, like I said, next week, we're going to get into the Hugo stuff. We're going to get into some Jamstack stuff. We're going to put it into the cloud. We're going to do all this kind of cool stuff. And I might stream some video games, race car video games, 8-bit Nintendo games, things that I enjoy. I might just do that just for fun. See who likes it. So thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it.